focus on the game plan, because when I get to the line, I'm only thinking about the game plan. But you have to be trained to think about the game plan, and trained in the game plan, and trained in game planning, and understand the art of grip fighting and how to master that particular art. And within that art, the throws are within that art. See, when you first learn judo, you learn the throws, and then you learn about gripping. But when you practice sport judo, you gotta learn gripping, and then learn how to throw again. I'm not gonna get into all that. All right, let's talk about the match here. The match is nothing more than chronological landscape. It is almost chronological real estate. You have to learn how to invest the time that is available. So what we want to do is we want to look at the chronological landscape of a match. What does a match look like? A judo match is nothing but time. And what you do in the match is based upon the investment that you make over that time. And the reason why some people get tired and some people don't is not always because of being in shape or not being in shape. Sometimes it's a matter of spending more than you have. Sometimes it's a matter of what we call metabolic currency. You need to know the metabolic currency which is available, that you have in your quote-unquote pocket when you step on the mat. And then you have to know what you can and cannot spend. And your ability to spend, or how much you're going to spend, is going to be based on how much you practiced and all those pre-hygiene factors. Did you overtrain? Did you get enough rest? Did you rehydrate? Was there enough time in between your weigh-ins to your first match in order for you to be ready? Do you have enough things which are I don't want to talk about bioavailability, but let's not even get into the supplement part. But the bottom line is, are you ready? Are you ready to spend, and how much do you have to spend on a metabolic level? Now, when we look at a match is a 5-minute match broken up into 20-second segments. This is nothing spectacular, phenomenal, mind-blowing to those who coach. Those who coach who have seen this before. It's broken up into 20-second segments. Now, here's what you need to understand about these 20-second segments. If you look at the anatomy of a judo match, in the first portion of the match is where you usually see the gripping pressure. Now, penalties aren't issued out at the beginning of a judo match. In the first 40 seconds, you rarely see a penalty in a judo match. Rarely. In the beginning, what you see is a lot of gripping pressure. After the first minute of the match, that is a penalty-rich zone. Because usually, if you look at these segments, you look at segment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 4, 6, 1 minute, 8. Around a minute and a half point, around the 90-second point, that is where a discrepancy usually, or a differentiation, is usually visible, in terms of somebody attacked 3 times and somebody else didn't respond, or somebody attacked 2 times and initiated a newaza and somebody did not respond, and then a penalty is issued. Then what happens is, right after somebody gets a penalty, nobody gets a penalty 20 seconds after they just got a penalty. Usually, after you get a penalty, if person A is fighting person B and person A receives a penalty, person B usually has to attack 2 or 3 more times to get that person another penalty. That usually takes about 40 seconds. But in normal circumstances, person A who received the penalty responds. So now it takes a little more time to create that discrepancy again. And at the end of the fight, when people are fatigued, this is where the referees start handing out penalties like they're free. What you see at minute 3 and minute 4 is you see an increased metabolic expenditure. People are pressing the pace and really increasing the tempo. Because as time reduces, people become more urgent. Understand how a match looks. In the beginning of a match, a lot of gripping pressure, almost no penalties. And then penalties. A lot of gripping pressure, pace increase, penalties again. Now, here's what I want you to understand. Pre 2010, before 2009, 2010, before the rule change in terms of penalties, the first Shido showed up on your opponent's scoreboard as a score. Now the first Shido is a warning, which means I can almost give away a penalty, which means I can just grip for minute 1, minute 2, take a penalty, and then start fighting. Which is what the heavyweights do all the time. As homework, I want you to watch these videos, okay? If you look at the right, I got 2 links there. I need you to watch those particular videos. I want you to watch those videos and keep in mind what we're getting ready to discuss today. I want you to watch it and look at the chronological landscape, and then watch it and count the number of attacks of each competitor. I want you to break that match down in 20-second segments, and I want you to write down what has happened or what's going on in each 20-second segment. It's going to take some time, but it's a good study for you. All right. In 20-second segments, I want you to get a chart, make a chart, 20-second segments, or label it all the way down on a piece of paper. Watch a judo match in the first 20 seconds, and then pause, and then write down exactly what happened or what occurred in those 20 seconds. What you'll notice is that one person is doing more than the other. One person is doing nothing than some person. And you'll also notice that you say, man, these high-level competitors understand the anatomy of a judo match. And some of these referees, even if they do understand the anatomy of a judo match, they are still at the mercy of the crowd and the moment. They get caught up in the moment. And they start calling Shidos, and it's absolutely phenomenal. When you know what you're looking for, it's just phenomenal when you see it. Almost unbelievable. Now, the anatomy of a judo match study materials. Here's what you need so that you can understand the anatomy of a judo match better. On average, how many times does one need to attack in judo? Tell me. How many times do you think? Approximately 15 times. How many unanswered tachiwaza attacks do you need to string together in order to get a Shido? Approximately 3 or more. What is a minimum amount of times one can attack in a judo match? Here's a hint. There's more than one answer. The answer depends on if you're willing to take the maximum amount of penalties or if you want to take the free Shido. It's approximately 8 to 7 or 5 to 4. Now, how many unanswered tachiwaza attacks do you need to string together in order to get a Shido? Let me tell you something. When we talked about race before, I want you to start watching some matches on your local level, especially if you live in the United States, and I want you to take that into consideration when you watch it. I've seen people personally. I've sat in the coach's chair with a competitor who stringed together 9 solid attacks in a row. I've counted them out loud. 1, 2, 3. That's 4 attacks, ref. That's 5. You're looking good. That's 6 attacks. 7, 8, 9 attacks. I've counted with no Shido. The other person attacked twice, and my student got a Shido quickly. I've also watched video with some of my clients. One of my clients, I'm not even going to say his name, he come to my house, we watched the video, and we sat down and we counted the amount of attacks that he did in the match versus the other person he was fighting, and the other person got a Shido. got 2 or 3 Cheetos, and I asked him, I said, why did that person get all those Cheetos and he was